Merry Christmas to all of you.
Oh,
Humbug. Okay, let's take some attendance. Mr. Brian is here. Mr. John is here. Dan is here. Ooh, Tom DePlinski's here. Sal's here. Mr. Reese is here. Mr. Sousa, Mr. Stone, and Ms. Wells. Wow, I think that may be the first time ever.
first one of the season, we're all in the same room.
Must be the last one of the year.
Lovely. Thank you so much for coming. All right, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from December 4, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Second. Okay. Anybody has any comments, things to fix? That being the case, we have a vote to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains?
One.
Thank you. Okay. On to the next thing, opening remarks. I know she doesn't have any because I've already asked her if she did. Do you have any opening remarks that you would like to?
Yeah, I just just a general statement. Last year when we went through this process, with the new capital funding and everything else that we were doing and the discovery of, the missing $600,000 in revenue that we had to make up over a couple of years. When you look at the status, we've had, the first year was really tough where it was a big increase, which was before I got here to 25%. Last year was in the 9-10% range. And this year we're a little bit higher than that. But when we originally talked, we talked about 3 years of it being pretty bad because we were playing catch up and we have the revenue we had to make up on top of trying to refund capital. Status wise where we are, we're ahead of schedule for getting this done. And I just want everybody to be aware that right now, this year has the last piece of the revenue that we have to make up, 169,000. And then on top of that, when we look at our capital, and we've done a bunch of revisions to the capital budget this year related to including things that used to be in just in operations, and again, we've done some shifting. But when it comes to the shortfall right now, we're down to $181,000 where we were at 588 before that, over the last couple of years. So basically, when we talked about the 5-year plan, there's 3 more years of getting caught up. So it's only 60,000 a year. So basically less than 1% we have to do for the next 2 years. And if we don't have to make up the revenue, which has been accounting for 3% of the increases, that's 4% that we're not going to have to deal with. We're dealing with basically inflation and a percent or so related to capital that would be like, because we are now, this budget includes getting staff to the level we were pre-pandemic. So I think we're at a place where you're looking at this being the last bad year from a budget perspective. I really believe that we're going to be looking at that somewhere 3 to 5%, depending on what inflation does, this year. So we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and it is not a train. So we're getting into a good place right now.
Thank you, Chet.
Work, Jeff.
Yeah, I would say thank
To
you.
the whole team.
Yep, to the team, thanks. I know.
All right, so I have some opening remarks. First, I'd like to thank you all here for the time, effort, and positive input you've all exhibited getting us to this point. While we certainly do not always agree on a particular item or items, the dialogue and debate has, for the most part, been constructive and well-intentioned in my mind. So enough buttering you guys up. So tonight we need to get through a review and final vote on all the sections of the budget, both revenue and expense, with the exception of warrants. We're not going to cover those obviously until you get them in the meeting. We'll have them for the meeting on the 13th. As an aside, I'll get to that. All right, so some guidelines for tonight's process, because we really got to get through this. As we start to move through this, if you want to speak, just raise your hand. So I'll actually be you versus people just jumping in tonight. Second, I don't think we should allow any discussion on a topic that's not germane to our charter. It's the budget committee. If there's anything going sideways, that's going sideways. Let's not get into that.
I don't believe the revenue is actually a charter of the budget committee.
Okay, well, we'll just review it.
So,
We can just review it.
just following up on your comment.
All right, well then, thank you, John, for that, because you know me, I don't know anything. I'm ready about the rules. All right, also considering that we've had prior significant discussion and voted on all the items, if there's disagreement on any item, anyone who has a case that they want to make will be given the opportunity to do so. And after everyone who wants to has their say, we're gonna revote and move on. Not gonna be back and forth tonight.
In theory.
Not in theory, in reality. Okay. Okay, so that's my opening remarks. There was one update to the schedule. I was at a meeting with the cemetery committee the other day, working through their budget stuff. And, Ellie Davis is on the committee, and she said to me, first thing, when she saw me, she said, "You have a problem." I said, "So what's new?" You know, what exactly is this one then? As you well know.
563. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so she was absolutely right. There was a conflict. The school budget has their deliberative session on the 14th. We had scheduled our final session for the 14th. So I've moved it to the 15th. And that way, anybody who wants to go to the school version of, their budget hearing can go, and we'll be free and everybody can come to both meetings. So
I thought their deliberative session was the 31st.
The budget public hearing.
public hearing.
It's not the
Public hearing, I'm
deliberative
sorry,
session.
it's the
They're,
public-
they're in the morning on the same day.
it's the same-
We're,
Yeah, the public hearing.
Okay, not the deliberative session.
yes.
That's good. So you can't, I didn't want to conflict it. We got that change, John.
What we've done in past years is we've staggered the times. So they meet early or we meet late.
Yeah, they
Vice
want to
versa,
meet
and
at
same.
6. They're scheduled to meet at 6.
So what we've done in past years is we would meet at 7:30.
Yeah, I think let's do it on the 15th, the regular Thursday. And then we won't have suppose that session goes long, people running back and forth.
Yeah.
Unless there's a major objection to the 15th.
The specific things that have to happen at specific times, state calendar.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure we have enough days to do it. I haven't counted.
The days between the meeting and the deliberative session. There's a number of days that are required. Chet knows, right, Chet?
Yeah, we're in the right place because the last day to have the public hearing is the 20th. And the first legal day for having a deliberative session is the 31st. And we're gonna have that public hearing on the 15th, so we're fine.
Okay, just,
Thank you.
we did have a special election last year because we missed these kinds of crazy dates.
Oh, no, that was because we were so last minute with everything. The 26th is when we're supposed to warn the whole town meeting. We didn't get it till the night of that Monday from DRA, all the rest of the stuff, so we were pushed up against the end of the schedule. We should not be anywhere near that.
We're good on the 15th.
Yes,
Okay.
13th, 15th, and.
That's all I need to know. We're
20th.
good.
Wait a minute.
Amen, move forward.
Moving along.
Okay,
So we're meeting the 13th
and the 15th
and the 15th.
And the 31st at deliberative.
and the 31st.
When are petition warrant articles due, Chet?
14th.
We had a somewhat idea by the January 13th. Okay. Is it
What was
13th
it
or
that-
14th?
Did you the 13th? She and I was looking at it the other day. Was it 13th or 14th?
It's the 13th.
Well, we meet on the 15th.
Yeah, well, we meet right after that. Well, it's 5:00.
Right, so, well, if we get something new on that
the
day.
13th, right? That was what we discussed. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have them for our meeting.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
What's the time?
Right.
What time on the 13th?
6. Everything 6.
And 13th?
Yeah, both days, 6:00.
And that's the day for the budget committee to review warrant articles.
Right.
And then the public hearing is on Thursday.
We screwed it to Friday or Thursday, right? You're right, I'm sorry.
All right, so that's that. And that's that. And that's that. And now we're on to let's go.
Do we have anybody on Zoom?
We have nobody.
Yes, we can.
Nobody cares what I do. They only complain after we do it.
Later.
They do.
They only complain after we do it.
I've had a few different people try, but with the new system, they haven't
Yeah,
had any luck
there's some
getting
of
on.
that.
Just so,
There has been
just
some
so
of
you
that.
know.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. All right, well, let's just, even though it isn't our charter, let's review the budget revenue piece, just so we know. Something has changed, very little. Right? In the revenue, what did change? It had to do with the cemeteries, correct?
Yeah, the cemetery trustees gave us a hard number for the money coming back from the cemetery fund. So it's on the bottom of page 4. The other miscellaneous revenue, 013509-12 is the cemetery expense, and this is the reimbursement we get. We usually get it in January or February. And we were given the hard number of 18,717. And then the cemetery trustees are planning to increase the burial fees. So they asked to increase that revenue from 3,000 to 4,000.
So not a big deal, but an overall $4,717 over what it was the last time we made those votes. So we actually increased the revenue piece. A little bit. Every little bit helps.
All adds up and, yeah.
Does that translate, carry on onto the single sheet that you gave us with the
Yeah.
red numbers?
I tried to line up the department's revenue so you can see
Yep.
like the departments that do bring in some. So if you look at the cemetery total,
Yep.
I put the 2026 estimated revenue next to it.
Thank you.
So, and cemetery folks were great. We had a nice meeting, but they did good.
Yes,
And they're doing good work. I mean, by the
Yeah.
way, just so you know that
good intention.
what they're doing has to get done.
Spade work.
Cemetery,
Spade work.
spade work. Okay, so let's start at the top. 01, general fund, general government executive. Anybody have anything they want to discuss in that category? 4130.
We'll stay on revenue side, right?
Oh, no, we're now moved on to expenses. We're done with revenue.
Good man.
We're done. Revenue's over. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Next. Well, like John said, it's not our charter, so.
We done at
more-
6:30.
More informational. To know where we are.
Yeah, I know. It's all season, but we're getting there, but.
Yep.
All right, so in other words, if you don't, nobody has anything here, the proposed total for the 2026 budget for this department is $263,210.52.
Question.
Shoot.
Is that mainly because of the information that came in after their budgets were submitted that we had to update like insurance and things like that?
Correct.
Of the boss. It's her turn to speak.
There's nothing else significant other than that, really, correct? On the
Yeah,
right
we
to
didn't
it?
get the insurance quote till like a couple weeks ago.
Late in the game, right?
So I can get a motion to approve this as our recommendation. $263,210.52.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstains?
So do we vote on each,
Yeah, I want to just go, I want to get the answer we can. Let's just
Sure.
go, we'll just do it.
so we don't vote on the overall at the end, we're voting on each section?
We can vote on the overall as well, but we're going to vote on each section as we go.
Okay,
And then if somebody decides they don't want to approve what we've done, then we'll vote on the full vote at the end of that, sure.
okay,
That'd be fine.
understood.
Okay?
Just so you know, that's not the one that goes in the book. The vote after the public hearing,
Right.
because there can be a change there.
Okay,
So that's the one that goes in the, for
on the record,
they voted
okay.
10-0-8-2.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm just trying to come up with, this is what we agree that this is
Yep.
our budget.
Okay, so
This is what we're proposing to the public at the particular moment.
understood, so I would be a yes on that.
Thank you.
You want me? Yeah, no, I mean on this part, not only on your. Please have me as a yes on that vote.
He's all done. He voted for all.
I know, I was gonna say, good, you can all leave now.
Two seconds, yeah.
4140.
All right, election, Reggie, 4140. Thank you very much. All right, any, issues on that? Go ahead.
I had a question, and
Sure.
I don't have my original budget worksheet from when we covered that department. But I know we voted to increase the fee or the stipend for the workers, right? We were gonna give the election workers a couple of bucks.
Yes.
Okay, but we're up 50 total, and I don't remember why we were up so much. That only accounted for a few thousand. Was there an extra election?
Well, the 2025 actual is way down.
I think that's,
4140.
I think that's because of Christina's salary,
Yes.
right? Because she just started recently. The deputy, I'm sorry,
No, no,
the
no.
deputy.
You did raise your hand. Yeah. I don't care if you have the ugliest one, you know?
That's gonna count.
No,
So what,
no, hang on a minute. Michael, what's the frame of reference here?
I was just asking the question, why?
Go ahead.
For years, it was 195, 195, 196, and then all of a sudden 50, well, it's the same, but it's 50,000 more than last year. I was asking the question, I can't remember why it was low last year, I guess.
I don't understand. It was 196 last year and 194 this year.
225 is 147.
The 2025 budget? That's 196.
that's what was budgeted, actually spent was 149.
The spend so far to date.
Nice.
That's
So it's
because we
separate.
didn't get a deputy person in, so we didn't expend all the salary.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I think
I see.
Yeah, well,
primarily,
we
right?
didn't hire till June.
Yeah.
But the ask has been the same.
We didn't hire till June.
Salary.
So, all right. So, anybody has any issue with any of the specific items here? Get a motion to approve the 194,804,03.
I'll move.
Second? Second. Any questions, answers? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Thank you. Financial administration. Alright. The, questions, comments, issues?
This is the same differences, we're gonna run down the line pretty much, right? If you can carry on, when you get to there, where there's a plus, you can go through and just say, this is again, because of the insurance, et cetera, or if there's some significant thing that you can remind us about.
What are you asking for?
If there's nothing, so if we have an increase like on this line item on 4150, we can expect that that's because of the change in insurance rates, et cetera.
Yeah, and all the wages are going up by COLA.
Right. So that's typically what we're seeing with these gains, correct? And if there's something other than that, if you could remind us what it was that comes to mind, that, you know, is the wages and the insurance, but it's also X. Because that's the part that I think that we would find significant to know whether we remind us that we voted for that before.
Well, everything that you see here,
Is what we voted
is
for.
what we voted on,
Agreed.
other than if there was a minor change for the insurance. That's it.
And that's what he's asking is when it's something like that, that we really can't help point that out, so we don't waste time, right, talking about it.
If there's something that's different.
Yeah.
Then just a memory jog would be great to say, yeah, that's because of blah, blah, blah.
Do you have any way of tracking that?
I haven't tracked versions. I've
Yeah.
just tracked my notes that I make on all the changes.
Well, your notes are very good.
That is so she can remember the things that
I
we
agree.
can't.
Brian, I actually have some notes on that.
Okay,
So,
that's my excuse.
that's all right. We'll do the best we can. Anybody have any issues on the 219? 881.90. Okay, motion to accept.
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Any other comments?
Do we really need a finance man? That's the biggest line.
I think the answer is yes.
Okay.
Otherwise we'd really be in trouble.
That's next year.
We'd be here for Christmas. Okay, don't forget now, she's the one who found all that interest money that we now have getting rolling in. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstains. Thank you. Moving on to assessing. Okay. Issues with 4152 assessing.
I guess the question there, we, we got personnel changeover. And is there anything that we should tweak this, that we're gonna be paying less than we normally would, or we're gonna be paying more than they normally would? Are we hiring contract labor, which is expensive to do this? Or are we getting, we're just not doing it, we're not applying the number of hours? Does this represent the change in Rebel's departure and the replacement by other people?
No, we kept the pay scale the same. The only wild card is gonna be the health insurance. Like, we always have
Yeah,
the,
we can't hire the person right away. So there's gonna be that gap.
yeah, there will be the turnover, which we always have money
So
extra.
we're
in the
probably,
budget.
probably gonna take us a month. Chet's got his hand up.
Oh, go ahead, finish. what you're doing.
It's probably gonna take us a month to hire this person. So maybe we should drop out 5%, 10% of the number in wages. If We're probably
So-
not gonna spend it.
That's not gonna work because this position had waived the insurance. So you're not even seeing an actual insurance plan reflected there. That's the buyout.
Gotcha.
So if somebody were to choose a family plan, that's usually,
Yeah, but I'm not thinking about insurance. I'm thinking about wages. If it takes us a month to hire somebody, then we don't pay wages for a month. So maybe we don't put the money in the budget.
we already don't have money in the budget for someone to take health insurance. So leaving the wages in there would at least help defray that risk. Because right now, there's no health insurance plan
So,
budgeted for this.
I guess you're saying we should put a placeholder in there for insurance. And I'm saying we should put something in there because we can't hire the people fast enough. Now
Now-
Chet's get his hand up.
Now,
Thank you.
two things are going on in this process. One is the contracted services are way down because there was money put in that for the reappraisal that we are not doing until next year. So we're actually encumbered, we just encumbered that money for next year, and that's all coming out of the reserve fund that's for the reappraisal, because that's gonna cost 75,000. So that money transferred over, so that's why we're seeing one of the downsides. The other piece is, we have two people working as interim, part-time, assessing clerks that are covering for the loss of the person that was their rebel. Okay, so we're still paying them, as part of this, so we are paying an assessing clerk now, regardless of whether we filled the position. We have that for a couple of months until we hire somebody.
So the only thing you're saying is there's nothing in here for insurance. And I would suggest we put a placeholder in there for a typical insurance plan.
John, would you like to make a motion to amend one of these?
I need a number from Carrie Ann, her best guess is what the typical insurance is.
Mm, Trying to think what department has that.
Number that's in there now is comparable to what's been 2023 and 2024 and 2025. So why is it not? Okay,
Because that is a stipend that you get if you don't take the insurance, the 5,000, but the actual cost of the insurance is very different.
I'm just saying we ought to have the typical number in
I
there,
hear
whatever
you.
that is.
I hear you.
Yeah, so for a yearly family plan, the medical costs 29,380.
And is that typical? Are most of our employees family?
Most of them are two-person. We have a handful of family plans. So I would say if we budgeted for a two-person, that's like at least splitting the difference.
How much is that? 20? Right, 20, I think.
About 2.2.
So I looked at the wrong number. So the family plan is 40,000, the two-person plan is 29, and a single person is 13,000.
So 29 minus 5, so you'd have to increase it 24,000, basically, to go to a two-person.
Yeah, if that's typical.
Yeah, that's typical.
How many people go for the 5,000?
Was there 6?
Gee, and there's the 19.5.
4 out of
Close enough.
30.
4 out of 30.
So So maybe we use 20,000. Average.
Because whoever gets hired, there's a 60-day wait period. So if we hire someone, say February, then their insurance kicks in May.
1st,
Yeah,
I move we throw in 18,000
On top of the 5 or in total?
total.
Total.
Does anybody want to second that? Not hearing a second, we move on. Let's take a vote on any other issues on this? Take a motion to approve the 126,991.42.
So moved.
Second,
We're still on 4152 assessing.
yes, sorry,
we have a second yet?
126, 991, please. Second,
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Hey,
Any abstains? Thank you. Legal expense, 4153. Any issues with legal?
Actually, it keeps happening. There's nothing wrong with
You gotta
the
watch the faces sometimes.
You get an eye roll down there?
I did, yeah, we got an eye roll.
Side eye.
That's exactly what we got.
Why don't we do this, all the motions with the same two names? If you want to make any changes, do that. That's
Yeah,
gonna save,
that'd be
that's gonna
good.
save for my very excessive fees, if I could just paste in the same two name. All the way down.
All right, is there anybody who wants to make the opening the motion and then the second?
I'll move.
You'll be which?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, you'll be the first, and who will do all the seconds?
Brian loves the second.
All right, Brian loves to do seconds. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm capable of explaining that making the motion doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it, means we're
That's
gonna
right.
vote on it.
That's exactly
I'm
right.
okay with explaining that
That's
100
exactly right.
times.
Okay, fantastic. I agree. All right, there you go, Roger. You got your time saver. There you go.
Saving money.
There you go. I love that.
My mom will be so proud.
And you got the right guys who want to save the money.
We're not saving pennies anymore, we're saving nickels.
Hey,
No, more pennies.
nickels are good. All right, come on, let's go. Assessing legal expenses. Where are we? Anybody got any issues with legal?
Yep.
Okay, entertain a motion at 141,883 for legal.
That's me.
It's already done. Any other issues, questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstains? Thank you. Personnel administration. Little, 2,200. Anybody? We have a motion to discuss. Anybody have any issues with that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstains? Thank you.
Can I make a quick comment?
Sure.
One of the things that I looked at is, like on that one, 2,200 department, 2,200 town administrative, 2,200 board of select, 2,200 budget committee. That probably doesn't have a lot of controversy to spend time talking about unless there's something you know that we don't know.
I understand.
I'm just thinking that that'll
Well,
help
you're
move
talking
along.
Okay. Love the streamlining effect here.
Let's go right to
We're
the
trying to
vote.
get the difference.
All right, come on now.
We'll let
Hey,
him.
remember, we're live. We're being recorded so people can, hold us to the fire on this. Pay attention. Planning and zoning. Issues planning and zoning? Unheard. All those in favor of 11,766.53? Opposed? Abstains. General government building. Okay, have at it. Who wants to talk about anything about general government buildings? Yeah, we're late. Thank you.
Is this the area where we're proposing to add the new position?
Yes, yeah.
Right, and that position is reflected in the number here on this page.
First one on top.
Salary.
GB salary 58,764.80. And you gotta remember now that this is a new position that's this year. There was a prior part-time piece that was in there.
Yeah.
And that came from the full-time position over at the transit station. He was spending his time doing some of this work. And we're eliminating that full-time position over at the transfer station down the road here. And putting in a part-time position over there. That's what's going on technically. Is that,
Oh, yeah, the thing to keep in mind is the full-time position was originally buildings and grounds and cemeteries. When we had a need at the transfer station, they added that piece later. So what we're doing is going back to the original position.
Yeah.
The full-time position that we're paying for now that does three things is now this. And we're adding a part-time position at the transfer station. That's just the 24 hours a week. No benefits.
There's a little bit of an offset.
Yeah.
well, there's gonna be even more of an offset. I don't wanna complicate the issue, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This position is gonna cover what's listed as the full-time salary in cemeteries. So the 10,000, and that we're getting reimbursed on some of that, not all of that. They don't reimburse all of our expense there, but they do reimburse, $18,717 worth. Okay. Yes, John,
So are we hiring a part-timer?
for the transfer station. That's my.
Basically, two positions will be available. We have a current person filling one of them, and they're gonna tell us kind of which way they want to go. And then we have to have an interview and say, does that work? But we're not eliminating the person, but we have two positions and we gotta reorganize.
So the end result is we're not hiring anybody?
We're
part-time?
hiring a part-time person is what the addition will be.
And does that go show here or is it?
Transfer station.
Transfer station. This, basically, the money that the town was paying is all come here
Okay.
before, and now we just added the piece to the transfer station.
Can we talk in plain English?
Sure.
Is the person that's in the position now going to now be the person that has the full-time handyman job?
Maybe.
They would need to apply for it,
Yes,
in my
apply.
opinion.
There's that piece of it, and I'm not sure that person is that interested in that position.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
We're gonna have continue that conversation, but looks like it's going the other way.
Yeah, well, it's a standard hiring thing. You're gonna have a job opening for this position, and you're gonna have a job opening for a part-time position.
And the person that's already here will have.
They
the
can
ability
apply
to-
for them if they want.
Yeah.
They can also do the part-time job.
That's correct.
They can do whatever they want.
I know.
Technically, that would
They have
be
that.
automatic. If they said, I want to do the part-time job, it's already doing what
And
they
then it'll
do.
be up to Sadie to hire them, one way or the other.
Only department head. I think Dan had a question.
Yeah, sorry, Dan.
I'm not sure I did.
Oh, his hand was up.
That's all right. No, thank you.
It might have been because I was ready to slap myself on the forehead.
I do that a lot. Call myself a dumbass.
I guess the one thing I would say is that I'm still curious how we don't do any cost analysis on this when we're in one more year where we're struggling. Next year we'll be out of the weeds a bit, why we didn't do a cost analysis. But I beat that for 2.5 friggin' months and I don't get anywhere. So
The cost analysis has been done. We know what we're adding. It's in here and I think it's $24,000.
no, the cost analysis I was talking about is take the projects that we have on the immediate, break them down, figure what the new position would do as opposed to what we'd still have to hire out. I would personally.
Talk about the job
bids
description.
For all of those small things
Yeah.
for the new thing. And if those bids came in average or less than what we pay the guy, maybe we just contract him out for one more year so we can keep this tight year down as much as we can. But apparently, we're not interested in figuring out if we can just get by one more year on the same amount of money without hiring somebody on a new position. And like I said, I've already beat it enough, so it is what it is.
Thank you, Dan. Any other issues with this? Okay, all those in favor of 197-1658?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
They,
2 nays, any abstains? Thank you. Cemeteries. Oh,
Your favorite subject, at least today.
well, I'll be as quick as I can. On what happened here, the substantial change from what we had in the budget. There was I believe it was somewhere around 135,000. It's now down to 95,000. If you remember back at the meeting when they were here, one of the things that we had requested was, well, how much money is going to come out of the trust fund, folks? And there was all this conversation about 20,000, 18,000, this and the other. So I eventually, started working with the cemetery committee to get a more detailed, and I have a lot of detail on this. If you guys want it, I can tell you that eventually. Send it to you. You want to get into the weeds with it, but, basically, we met, we went over it. I had Cindy Neely there as the representative from the trustees of the funds business. And we figured out where all the money would come from. She's in agreement, and Carrie Ann was very helpful in helping us figure out the mechanics of how we could move the money from the trust funds to pay for some of the items that they were asking for. And yeah, we went around and around and around, but eventually everybody from the cemetery committee and the trustees of the fund and our financial director are all, on the same page as to what's going to happen with the cemeteries. They are going to get everything that they asked for in our meeting, taking care of all the problems that they wanted to take care of this year. Okay, and they basically said, it's going to be better next year. And so that's kind of how we got down to where we are.
Better because they're caught up.
No, they're catching up on a lot of the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
Most of the tree work is gonna be done. Very little, there might be a few trees here and there, and some of the other cemeteries that need to get done. And there's this one erosion project that they're working on, doing a pilot test to see if we do this, will this work? If it does, then that's gonna probably be the major expense next year for somewhere around 10 grand, but that's a lot less than the, 30, 40, 50, 50,000. $52,000 worth of one-time expenses, if you will, that they're putting in this year.
Yep.
So that's just.
So is there a revenue or a trust fund or something that's going to offset the 95, or is the 95 the number?
We're getting $18,717 back.
Okay.
As reimbursement against the 95.
Okay. So the actual.
As well as the 4,000 in fees.
So it's like 75.
Yes.
So the town is footing the bill for roughly
That's
70.
easier to swallow.
Yeah. Well, it's just got to work through these things sometimes,
Yeah.
We did. Yes, John.
Does all of the trust fund money here in the budget? Some of it's bypassed the budget.
Bypasses.
Is it always that way, or are there different rules for different trust funds?
You guys have never looked at it before, so we've only been focusing on the funds that the budget committees reviewed in the past. So the general fund, water, sewer, EMS. I tried to add the recreation fund this year just to start to see that there are other funds.
Yeah.
So we have 14 funds.
Yeah, I think we're finding things that will help us move forward in the future in terms of offsetting some of the costs through funds that are available that have not been accessed in the past. You've got Tom Opel involved
Nice.
in, well, one of the requests that the cemetery folks and the trustee folks have is we have a fair number of trust funds that are specifically designed in the cemetery world for a specific cemetery.
Yeah.
And what they said at the meeting when I was talking to them was that there's a movement afoot, because a lot of towns, or small towns like this, with the same problem. They have all of these funds that are have $400 in them that you can't do anything with, but you can't touch the principal. You're only generating $8 a year. They want to combine them, and they're trying to figure out a way to do it. And I was fortunate, I had lunch with Tom today, and he said, well, maybe I can figure out how to slide an amendment in there that allows you to, conglomerate them,
Yeah.
So there's some progress, and I don't think you're gonna see any result for years, but you never know. We'll see how it works.
I think they are merged at the bank. They're in one account, and that one account earns money for many different trusts, yes.
So they're not actually in a bank, they're invested.
Yeah, they're invested.
There are some that are individual, and because at one point they were all held individual, and then it became by cemetery. So some of the very old ones are still in a person's name.
Mhm.
And then there are additional, like the Wells Cemetery has the water fund. Somebody gave $1,000 150 years ago. And it's now huge because they don't use it, so.
Yeah. So there's some, yes.
In the document that we might be writing up that helps to elucidate this process to citizenry?
Yeah.
There's probably a sentence or two that we could throw in there if we're still doing that, that would explain a little bit of how the trust business might interface, because this is
Can
my,
you save that thought, because we're gonna get to that at the end of the meeting.
okay.
Okay. All right, so, cemeteries. All those in favor of 95-504-68?
I had one.
Oh, sorry.
I just tap you next time.
Yeah, be in the head, whack me upside the head, that'll, wake up.
And I apologize if I was looking it up. In the updated one that Carrie Ann gave,
Yes,
there's a line that was not in the first one, which is maintenance for $10,200. I think that was the first one, is that right?
And 430?
oh, yeah, it was, but it was 49,000.
Okay, I got you cleared up, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's the other.
Cut that one way back, that's one of the things that are coming out of the trust fund instead of directly out of our pockets and from the tax.
I apologize for that.
Okay.
This stuff just requires some digging in.
All right, all those in favor of 95-504-68?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Thank you.
I abstain.
That one abstained, sorry. Thank you.
Don't understand enough.
You abstain?
Okay. A6, insurance. Okay, property and casualty, all according to Bob, all those in favor of 516440? The number for 4196, insurance not otherwise allocated.
Make sure I don't know.
What does that mean, insurance not otherwise allocated? What are we talking?
The miscellaneous buildings that don't have a department to go with it.
Okay, so like some buildings insurances, it's not like health insurance and all that sort of stuff, or is it?
No, like the
Right.
property and liability is well over
Oh.
6 figures and it gets broken up by department. But then there's like a couple of straggler buildings that just don't fall anywhere.
Okay, yeah, understood, Carrie Ann, thank you.
Is this one where the 35 got put off to the departments to pay theirs, and this is the part that's left?
Yep.
Okay. So it's paid somewhere else.
Under another department.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains. Thank you. Contingency funds, any, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains? No. General government. Questions, comments? Issues? I'm being heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains. Thank you. Public safety police. Questions, comments, issues? Got
This may be coming out of left field here, but we had a lengthy conversation about adding an officer the last time, and then all the associated stuff that went along with that, vests in a vehicle and whatever. So it becomes a fairly big number in total. And I don't know if this is acceptable with county principals, but the election, the vote isn't until March. You're not gonna hire the guy you're not gonna hire the new officer on March 31st. Is there a way of prorating the $200,000 that increase the officer is, and by figuring that we'll get somebody up and going by July or something? So it's really half that number for the budget purposes?
Realistically, they wouldn't be able to hire till April 11th, so you'd be looking at a May start at the earliest, realistically. So it would basically be like, 5/12.
Carrie Ann, do you have any input on this? Thought process?
We've calculated it both ways, so we just need someone to make a decision.
Okay,
can
what
do
would be,
that.
what would be, let us in on the secret. What would the number be if we decided to do it? What was your calculation based on, and what was the other number?
So
The
the,
alternative number?
the positive side is the entire portion of the salary is budgeted for the whole year.
Right.
And it's in the default for next year. The downside is if you don't put all the wages in this year's budget, then next year you have a full timer, then you budget it and it's gonna be increased to 12 months that time. So it's either you have to budget for a full-time salary 1 year or the next year. So you could defray costs this year, but then next year we'll be replacing a 7-month position with a 12-month position for budget purposes.
I'm good with that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Bob. That's very good to know.
Well, because we talked about how this is the last year with all these expenses and stuff, and next year should be better, so that'd be the year we would apply it.
I'm not arguing with you.
I'm
I just didn't raise my hand.
You
sorry.
didn't raise your hand, so, you know, we're gonna put you in
Then
the
you're
corner.
done. You have to raise your hand and make the comment again.
Yeah,
I'm good with it too.
You're good with the 5/12s? That's
I
what
mean,
you're
it
good
would,
with?
I think that's what we.
Yeah, I think it makes sense if we're in a tough year to prorate it. I know that it's gonna be budgeted for the full 12 months next year, but guess what? If we budget it for the full 12 months this year, it's gotta be budgeted for the full 12 months next year either way. Right?
So,
So if
to
it
go back to my opening statement,
yes.
it gets modified by 2%. Realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so we were talking about, maybe we're down to 1 or 1.5%, not including inflation and normal stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna add another 2% to that.
Yeah, one of the things that, I think about when we think about budgeting in general and the overall thing, and you don't really mention it, you haven't mentioned it much of this particular group, is something called the undesignated fund balance. Right, and is everybody familiar with what that is? Right? We seem to be trying to build that up.
Absolutely.
I don't, Carrie Ann, Chet, sorry, would you guys, having a smaller undesignated fund balance like we do, and the goal is to build it up. Why do we want to build it up, and what would be the impact of building it up?
Well, there's several things. One is we're actually required to carry like 8% of our total bill.
Required or recommended?
It's technically required. We have the minimum, I think, is 600,000 or 700,000, which we're still below that. We're one of the 4 or 5 lowest in the state up until we haven't seen our 24 audit. But the issue is cash flow. You're supposed to have, the numbers are based on having a minimum of 2 months worth of expenses to be able to carry you in a period of time. We are currently borrowing $1 million each May because we don't have it. And so if we have the cash flow that we're supposed to have, we wouldn't need to borrow any money. We would, this year we paid $31,000 in interest. So these are the things that we want to avoid, because the more we bring it into line, you know, and the same thing with our capital budget, we're trying to get away, you know, we still had to finance a little bit here and there, but the goal is if we're properly funded, we won't need to do that, and we save a lot of money over time. But yet it's really the ability to do special projects, unanticipated issues, have a FEMA event. We still got to pay money. Like, you know, we're going to be outlaying money. We don't have any money. Like, you know, we were actually concerned on December 1st when we were looking at it at the beginning of November, if we were going to make all of our payments, because we were really close. And we still had $500,000 to borrow.
Yeah, you reminded me with the FEMA comment, the Department of Revenue already told us if we had a FEMA event and needed to apply to draw on fund balance, they would tell us no, because we're not in compliance.
Right, so when we start to think about whether or not we should, you know, cut something like this particular item, cutting back to, you know, 7/12 or whatever the heck it is, the number. Right, that money could theoretically, I'll get you, John, that money could theoretically, you know, be around at the end of the year to move into the undesignated fund balance. So when we first were discussing this about theoretical, how we were going to approach this, the approach that we decided, we all agreed that we didn't, you know, I don't know, totally agreed, but we said we were going to err on the side of a little bit extra on the expense side and a little bit less on the anticipated revenue side, which would give us a little cushion to react to things so that, you know, the select board and, you know, in general, we could, you know, work a little more freely that way. So that's just another comment. John?
The undesignated fund balance, if you want to build that up, rather than putting it in this particular account, I
Mhm.
think you should put it in the contingency fund.
Don't disagree with the thought process.
Take 20 grand out of this, because it isn't gonna be spent here this year,
Mhm.
and then put the 20 grand in the contingency fund. And the other thing is the 14% or 15% on Carrie Ann's one pager.
Sadie?
I just also wanted to add that if our undesignated fund balance is very low or below the minimum, it can affect our bond rating, which will affect our interest rate ultimately, and then we're paying more.
Mhm.
And if the state said what they said, then that's not a recommendation.
And
It's a requirement. Because if we can't get money based on that issue, then
There you
that's a
go.
requirement.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And to keep in mind, when it comes, and, you know, it could work either way realistically. But if we're gonna put the same amount of money that we were gonna put in the police thing and put it in the contingency fund, at the end of the day, it only affects the default budget. Okay? Because whatever money we have left, if we don't expend it, is money that carries into the undesignated funds unless we're carrying it over. Because the goal is, if we actually get to our minimum, which I believe is 1.6 million, that we would need to have in undesignated funds. Once we hit that, now you can say, well, 75% of all money to go into undesignated funds going forward could be returned to offset taxes. We just can't do that for a while. You know, because at the end of the day, if we get to our goal number, which I think was 2.4 million, all of it has to go back. So if we have a $250,000 leftover at the end of the year, all goes to set off taxes the next year. The issue is we're in that place where we have to keep some, you know, for a
So-
while until we get some numbers.
So how sure are we on the contingency of the efficient?
Okay. We have not seen the actual undesignated fund balance for 24 because we're still waiting for our final audit. At the end of last year, we had 175,000 in the fund, of which we did not have the $120,000 liability accounted for the money we owe from the tax sales from 21. So we technically had like $60,000. And the state like has a heart attack if you're below 600,000 or 700.
So we're currently at, when we set our 2025 tax rate for the tax bills that just went out, we're at a 2.3%. So we currently have $413,000 fund balance, and the minimum from the state is 890. We should at least get 890. The 10% retained would be 1.7, and the maximum is 3 million.
Shouldn't we work on this budget to get to that point? If Sadie's saying,
Well, I think that's what we're trying to do.
right, so
I mean, realistically.
It's something, Tom, that it's in our thought process, but we haven't discussed it really openly too much here. Dan?
So I would say thank you for bringing up what you did, because quite frankly, that was not a thought process when we were just talking about it.
No, I-
You mentioned it, right? So thank you. And with that said, it does make sense to me that if we can prorate it for, let's just say 5 months, maybe we don't take that whole 5 months worth, but we can take some of that and put it in that contingency fund, because if that contingency fund doesn't get used, we automatically bounce that to the unassigned fund balance, right? Okay. just
Well, and even
recap.
if you put it in, leave it in the police budget,
Mhm.
it still goes to the unassigned fund balance.
Because it doesn't get used.
That's correct.
So it doesn't matter which fund it's in, it's how are you setting up so the next year.
So let me now ask the question that needs to be asked, which is, John brings up a good point, maybe we should put it there. From your perspectives, from the financial director, and what's the most advantageous for the town at this point in time? Should we put more money in the contingency fund to take it out of here, or leave it in here and leave the contingency fund where it is? And why? It's just your opinion, I mean.
Yeah, it really just.
Because it impacts, the thing that stuck in my head was it's gonna impact what the default budget is gonna be for 27.
Correct. I would prefer to leave it where it is, even if you're gonna reduce it. You know what I mean? Like if you were gonna take half of it or something, leave it where it is, because, you know, if we in the middle of the year have another officer leave and we have a couple of months of a breakdown, we're still gonna cover that, even if we've hired somebody. So I'm not overly concerned about, you know, if we take $50,000 out of the police department salary line. The issue is I still would like to keep it where it's going to be used in the future.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
Go ahead, Bob.
If I did this right, it looks like the 5/12 of 211,000 is about 88,000, so we could, there's numbers in there, 20,000 I've heard, 50,000 I've heard. The other thing that in these discussions in my first year at the budget committee, how we rolled everything we were trying to say we're gonna need more money, we rolled those up. And then every revenue we said was coming in, we rolled those down.
Right.
So we're in effect building our
We are,
undesignated already.
absolutely.
So we should do something with this.
All right.
We can't, I agree, don't axe it. Maybe leave it there, but cut it back,
And
50,000.
My thing is if you said, well, if it's $88,000, you cut it back 44. It's
Where do you
like,
get
well, that's what the
88,000? I don't know what.
I said 211,000 times 5 divided by 12.
411 is the wrong number,
211.
but it's a different number. That was not the right number, the
I
211.
mean, you want the total cost of the officers, what you're asking?
Yes,
Because that was 147,000.
that's right.
And that's for the first year?
Yeah, and then you,
Total
and then
cost
you
of
wanna-
the first year?
but if you want to add the other items, which were the non-included items, it was 10,500 for the vehicle. And then like $3,000 for equipment, so.
It's specific.
It's about 160.
11,000, but
Yeah.
it was the wrong number.
It was, but that was
It's a
okay.
figure right around
Some other things were
160
rolled
for
in.
your actual cost.
Not important. So you're basically saying if, just for numbers sake, it's 140 something, what's the number you just got? 147.
Yeah, it's 147.
So that's kind of like if you divide that by 12 and multiplied it by, say, 4.
It's gonna be about 61,250.
So, can we entertain a motion to cut the salaries by, what was that number you just said? 60?
Well, you want to cut the whole 512 or
61,000.
half of it, like we were talking about leaving some in?
I'm doing 4 months.
Okay.
I'm just saying that that's a 4-month number.
4 months, the cost of the employee is 49,333.
So,
Because you would do the 147 divided by 12 times 4.
Okay,
Yeah, I did 5, because we were talking about 5/12.
so
Yep.
50.
50. So can I get a motion to cut the salaries by $50,000?
Talk to Bob, he's the maker of the motions.
Oh,
Is
no.
that easy? Is that easy, or is the other, are the special motions different? Is everyone okay?
You're gonna make the motion?
I'll make the motion. I ain't scared.
we get a second?
Second.
All right, thank you.
More discussion just for a second.
Yes,
I like that because the salary is the salary. That's what we're gonna cut back on, but the car, the equipment, everything is still gonna cost for the same cost.
Yes.
So that's a much more accurate number. Thank
Right.
you.
okay. So any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
I'm not voting on the line. item,
3
right?
nays.
Just
I'm a
voting on,
nay.
And that was just that one line.
that's on the proposals? Or are we voting on the line
We're
item?
loading on the line item for the public salaries.
I'm a nay.
Chad, can you do the roll call vote?
We are gonna have to know that we got this. Okay, so, there's enough. Brian, nay,
Nay.
John,
Yes means the 5 whatevers is a
yes,
reduction.
not knocking 50 grand off.
Right, I'm a yes.
Yes,
Wait, I'm confused. Are we not voting on the line item?
we're voting
As
on
it is?
line item.
Are we changing the line item?
We're changing the line item by
Okay, so
reducing
this
to
is a separate vote.
$50,000.
Reducing the 50 year.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna vote on the line item.
And then we're gonna grow on the whole thing,
On the department.
on the department.
But
The
where's,
department, right.
Yeah, where?
So we're just voting on the change in that
Voting
number.
to reduce 10/1/10 from 625 to 575.
Can you start again?
I am gonna do. Okay, Ryan. You in favor of cutting the $50,000?
Yes.
Yes. John is in favor. Dan?
I don't understand it fully.
Okay,
My apologies.
that's okay.
So are we cutting the 50,000 and moving that to a contingency fund?
No.
Are we cutting it but leaving it in here?
We're just
Or are we
cutting,
cutting it so it's gone?
cutting it so it's gone.
I hear cutting it so it's gone. I hear cutting it and leaving it.
Well, you're leaving the 575. You're taking it out of that line item. You're reducing it by 50,000.
And it's on the table. We
And
may vote to stick it somewhere else. That's a separate vote.
Understood. Okay,
This
But-
So right now it's a reduction in the police department.
but nothing to do with where that goes.
Correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
okay. Yes,
In favor of this, okay, good. Tom,
Yes.
Sal, no. Michael?
Yes.
Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Yes. Bill?
Yes.
Sadie?
No.
So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 2. So that number is now reduced to 75, 968, 78. Right? Okay, which would then, is there any other items that we want to discuss in the police budget? Okay. So reducing the overall total, Arian, you got a little quick number for me there?
1,343,489.20.
1,343,489.20. Yeah, that would, is the new number? All right, all those in favor of accepting the new 1,343,489.20?
Aye.
Yes.
All those opposed?
Nay.
nay,
Nay. 3 nays.
You're a nay.
Yes.
I mean, there were 4 yays.
5, 6, 5 yes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 yeas, 3 no's. Thank you.
so we just,
Ambulance.
we just voted two different things there. We voted to reduce the salaries by 50,000 and we voted on whether we agree on the overall.
Yes. Yeah, which is the reduction of $50,000.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ambulance. This is one of these shorties. All those in favor?
Wait,
I'm sorry.
can we refresh my memory why we went up? It was 185, then it was budgeted for 100, now we're proposing to bump it back to 150?
Oh, we're under, the ambulance. We're discussing ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where she is.
Yep, that's where she is.
Okay, thank you, Sadie.
Yes.
I don't
Let us know where we are. That's good.
The fire part-time, when they went on the timekeeping system, there was a drastic decrease in hours worked.
Okay,
So we have a huge surplus at the end of 2025. And when we did the average hours that they're working every month now, it was able to move that 50,000 from the fire part-time wages to the ambulance contribution.
And then I'll back up on that a little bit. The 185 was all the money that went to the fund. And the issue became, we had no money going into a capital fund and we had a reserve account for that.
Mhm.
So last year, or the year we're in now, it was split between $100,000 to operations and 85,000 to capital. The probably was a little bit too big of a decrease for the ambulance for this year. And we have the ability to make the shift without any additional cost, so we moved the 50 over and left the money in the capital fund. So they can actually start to take care of replacing equipment. But it is a transfer of 50,000 from operations and fire department to operations and ambulance.
and how much is in the capital reserve?
I think, it was just about 100 for this year.
And do we have a vote to remove some from there that we just didn't do, or
Remove what?
were we planning to take it out of the capital reserve for ambulance stuff?
Oh, no, the capital reserve is just for equipment. It won't be used for operations. It's not part of this money.
Okay,
That's just typical capital reserve money. This is the operations, this is the enterprise fund part of it. The 150,000 is going there instead of, this was in 180. They were doing better, but they didn't do better enough.
Beat those guys with a stick. What?
So the next one we're gonna vote on, the 4220, looks like it's going down. Is that where the 50 came from?
Yes.
Yeah, so that went down to 365 from 406 last year. So that you just moved.
We moved it from the
50
fire
here to
department
there.
into the ambulance. And that was with consulting with the fire department, and they were like, this is the numbers that are working.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that, or
Well,
I think you're not finished?
yeah, so
So,
are the IFTs, is that part of revenue or where does that get booked? Because we're always being told we're gonna have such an increase on these transfers and things, so.
we've had a significant increase on the number of transfers. I haven't looked at the dollars recently.
The EMS department isn't breaking the revenue out like they used to, but you can look at the revenue for the insurance, because now everything's just being lumped into insurance payments.
Okay.
And they have gone up the last, November, they brought in 43,000, the 2 months before that was 50,000. So we at least have 3 months where they're bringing in good insurance payments.
So they need the additional 50. But then I think when we're looking at their budget, it's like, because I mean, this is a component of it. They, like the salary for EMT was 132, and next year's moving it to 220. Did we see justification for the increases in this budget, which then also justifies this $50,000 moving towards it?
Yeah.
And I don't really remember a huge conversation about PEMS, but I have a lot going on. I don't remember everything, so.
Yeah, really? I just keep losing memory, so, don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll add that, EMS is part of our cash flow issue, because water, sewer, and EMS are consistently losing money month over month. So that does impact the general fund's cash flow.
and I realize that we have spent $60,000 supporting Grafton's EMS that we're hoping not to do next year, but that's not all of it. I mean,
Well, no, the issue is reduction of the 85,000 out of the operations for which, might have been a little optimistic, which they said they thought they could do. But we took $85,000 out of their operations. If that was still there, we'd be fine. They were working at 185,000 for the fund. The issue was we weren't putting anything to capital. They said, well, we could reduce it because we think we're gonna have enough of an increase. The increase didn't completely materialize. Plus, we changed billing companies. We're still playing catch up with that. Because we're still getting bills from the company that we terminated back in June, and we're still getting money every once in a while from them. So everything's just dragging.
so we recently contracted to cover all of Dorchester too. I don't know if people are aware of that starting next year because we had not previously. What's the increase in that? What are we- what part?
I thought it was 28,000, I thought, an extra 28.
An
I forget
extra
what the
20.
number is.
So we're adding one to the losing money list?
The Dorchester for the fire revenue is 28,102. And then Dorchester for EMS is up to 51,438.
Okay,
So that's,
It's additional funds, but it doesn't go to the general fund. It goes into the enterprise fund.
Hopefully down the road, instead of having to pony up $150,000 out of the general fund, you have to pony up zero, and they actually wind up starting tribute money on the revenue side.
We just took too big a chunk the first year.
understood.
And you said contracting with Dorchester, so they're paying,
they paid us for a portion, but then, I think like Rumney and Wentworth, does Rumney have one?
Hmm.
Someone else was covering the further side and they're not able to.
But we're going all the way to the other side of the
So we've expanded our capability, right? We've hired more people, we're getting another truck or whatever, right? And we're servicing more clients, if you will,
Paying clients.
playing kinds. And we have one that we service currently over in Grafton that hasn't really paid us much or none. And we're in process of
Well,
negotiating with
we've
them.
actually, we sent them a draft bill so that they would understand the issue of where we are. It costs us $1,400 a call. Total, every time we go out, it's $1,400. You take our budget by the number of calls we get a year. We had already done 64 EMS calls there. EMS is not part of,
Fire.
mutual aid.
Right.
So it's been strictly a cash drain, so it's like $100,000 by the time you get done with, you know, what our costs are. We said, basically, we sent them a letter saying, we're gonna start billing you January 1st, 1,400 a call. And if you agree to this, sign it and get it back, and we'll make it a formal agreement. If not, we are going to be terminating coverage.
Good.
So that's where we are there. So one way or another, it should improve our situation.
And we'll just flip it over to Dorchester, because they're gonna do the same.
Yeah.
And everybody-
So at least they've been paying their bill, and we've got a contract, we'll be okay.
So this is the growth industry right here in Canaan.
It is.
Handout industry is
But
what
that,
it is.
but it is.
It can
That's the
be.
plan.
It can be.
We're paying the seed money. You know, all right, so the question is, let's vote on whether or not we want to fund them $150,000 this year. All those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Me.
One. Any abstains? Thank you. Okay. Fire. This is a flip, but you gotta flip the page to see fire. All right. Flip the page there. All right, any issues on fire? Katie?
My only comment would be, do we feel that the salary number is realistic if we're gonna hire a full-time qualified fire chief?
I have no idea.
Well,
I
we,
know it's probably not, but.
I have no clue.
I mean, we had 85 in the budget for the year we're in. And then it was reduced based on just who we were using, but that person is actually just going back to doing just ambulance. We're bringing, Chris back in the interim, run our fire department. So, you know, 85 at the minimum, you know, if I were guessing, it should probably be close to 90. You know, like if we were saying because we're gonna start a search in the spring, for a permanent. So it's just,
Oh,
it's just,
Well, if that's the case, then
well, I was,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead, please. Go
I was
ahead.
thinking like, okay, then, you know, it would be fine, but we're also gonna be paying Chris until then. So we'll still have expenses. It's not like we'll have 3 or 4 months of nothing.
Mhm.
no, yeah, no, he's starting now, and basically we're gonna be expending the budgeted salary money for that.
I mean, which are we, what is he being paid at? Is he being paid at a rate of 85 or 80?
I can't answer that till January 6th. And I don't mean to be
Thanks, Jack.
evasive. But depending on which way we go with the contract, if we go back with MRI, it's $105 an hour. If we basically buy out the contract, and then we could be paying him this salary, and he could actually be working for the town, and we would save money if we're going 5-6 months into this. So I think that's where we're likely gonna go. So you just wanna pick the correct salary and we'll be okay.
Which is the correct salary?
My opinion was 90.
90. That's what I want to know. Just,
That's my opinion, but you know.
Yeah.
We're not gonna just pay it just because, but when we go do this, it's gonna be a national search, and we're likely gonna get somebody that's retiring from somewhere that wants to come to a lower key thing and do the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so.
anybody else have any thoughts on this?
We're still building.
Yeah.
It's just another one of those, by the time they hire him, it's gonna be 7/12 of the year.
No, I think what he was saying.
No, we have to pay somebody in.
Have somebody in the
Leading all
interim.
the way up to it.
Yeah,
Chris is
you're
gonna-
an interim, Chris is the interim, right?
Yeah, he'll be getting paid full-time until we hire somebody.
Getting paid what? He's already accepted a job. He doesn't know what he's making yet. You don't know what he's
We
making?
know, well, we gotta pick which way we're gonna go, but it's gonna be what we have budgeted. We talked about the 85 to 90 range is what that job would pay.
Who's this Chris now that you said?
Chris Olson is the person who was our interim over last winter and then all the way to April.
Okay,
And then had some personal issues, was gonna move to North Carolina, and then that all got resolved, and now he's back and he's gonna work for us as long as we want him.
but you're still gonna do a search. He's not interested in.
We're gonna do a search once we have everything where it needs to be. So my guess is it'll probably slide a little further out than, we're not gonna be doing it right in March or April, but we're gonna do it, because in March, we also have a transition from a volunteer department to the new RSA, where it's now gonna be the town department, town employees. It's a whole, we're gonna get through all of these things, make sure we're organizing, and collectively, we're gonna make a strategic plan and say, this is the spot we gotta get to hire. I think is where we are.
So I was just gonna hopefully clarify and not make it more money, but when we found him initially, it was through MRI, so he's under contract with them. And so we have the option of either buying out the remainder of that contract and then just hiring him directly. And depending on how long we need him, that might be advantageous, might be cheaper, or we can just continue hiring him through MRI. So those are our choices.
Yeah, and we know at this point, because we're probably gonna go beyond 3 or 4 months, it's gonna definitely be cheaper to just buy it out and do it that way.
What are we
Right.
paying MRI right now for him?
Right now, we're paying nothing. We haven't signed the contract. This just happened 2 days ago.
What would we be paying MRI?
105 or 110 an hour
From the time he leaves his house.
from the time
in
he leaves his
Rochester
house,
and gets-
yeah.
plus expenses.
You have to transfer service to bring them over here.
Plus mileage.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's not cheap. And if we can, we won't have to pay him mileage. It'll be, this is the full-time job. This is what it is. So it just changes the whole dynamic, and it will be less expensive, given that the more we start looking at it, I don't think it's gonna be done for a few months.
We have a question at the end, Sal.
Go ahead, Dan.
Is it still up for am I correct in remembering that it is the fire department's decision on who they elect for a chief or?
The fire department they're gonna be having a meeting before the 6th to authorize him to go back. They already did it once,
Right.
and they're gonna do it again, and then he'll be the chief. But after March, whatever our meeting was last year.
Yeah.
The fire department has no say anymore.
The select
Because of the
board?
Our select board hires the chief at that point.
And
So there will actually be a process that we go through, because actually we have to accept all of the people that are the volunteers into it. Like, it's just a transition, because we're operating under a different RSA starting that.
okay, understood. Yeah, I get for a different day, I guess, but we have a fire chief of Rochester. I mean, does that make sense to have a fire? But I guess is that for this discussion or a different?
That's a different, that's,
Discussion. Let's talk to the select board about that, will you?
yeah.
Go visit the select board.
He was an interim.
Yeah, he's an interim too, Chris is.
And we're thinking about buying a contract out.
Oh, no. The contract buyout is,
Only,
it's not a huge number, and it's like, we're just
Like
eliminating.
6,000 or 7,000.
yeah, but what I'm getting at is, are we considering him for this full-time position, or he's only gonna stay here until we hire someone else?
He's going to stay here until we have the department where it needs to be, so we can hire somebody else. It could be a year, it could be 6 months.
So the question for the budget committee is, do we have enough money, $80,532 in the budget to cover the salaries of all these crazy people?
I would say, at the very least, you gotta go back to the 85 that was the budget for the current year. I think it should be 90, just based on what we're gonna be looking.
Does anybody want to make any kind of a motion to change this number?
Yeah, I would move that up to 90.
That's a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any other further discussion? All those in favor of changing line 42-20-10-1110 to $90,000?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye,
One.
nay, yes.
Got to tweak other lines like health insurance.
Yeah, that'll tweak.
Actually, health insurance wouldn't be affected because the rate is not based on what you make. You know, like if you pick a 2-person plan, it's a 2-person plan. It doesn't.
What's the new number to carry in for that department?
375,279.4.
Thank you very much.
How about retirement? All that crap.
It'll be minimal.
Speaking of whatever.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we say we approve?
We'll have a new number for it in January.
Yeah, why don't we say we approve 375,297.45 plus whatever minor adjustments get made for retirement and other benefits.
Well, we don't pay Chris those, so It would be super minimal because
I
we're not gonna
understand.
pay them the first.
Just so we know it's gonna be different. That's all. She'll eventually publish, she'll do it.
It's still just throwing a dart,
I-
right?
It is.
Yeah.
I'd be comfortable just keeping the insurances the same,
Okay,
just add the money to the salary.
thank you very much. Then if you, your advice, that's, we're gonna take it. So it's 375, 297, 45. All those in favor? Opposed?
Nay.
No. Okay. Thank you. Very good.
There was no motion there.
No, he made the
The
motion.
motion was to go to 90,000.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Roger.
But I'll paste that in my friend over there.
You two made the motion.
They made the motion for two separate motions.
See,
B and B.
Roger's so smart. Thank God we have Roger. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, building inspection. Anybody have any issues at 26/9/22/11? All those in favor? Opposed? Any abstains? Thank you. Emergency management.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide whether I should be a pain in the ass or not.
Now you're deciding.
I'm deciding.
Couldn't figure out how to say that fast enough.
Probably not.
You're a funny man.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of 117-022-12? Opposed? Any abstains? No, thank you very much. All right. Other public safety, mechanic. The issues with mechanic. All those in favor of 159-620-41?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstains? Yep. Streetlights, 0, nobody's opposed. Okay. Let's go. Highway and Streets Administration. Very good. Highway and Streets. And it goes all the way down. Oh, big number. All right. Big number.
The biggest.
The biggest. Okay. Anybody have any issues with anything that's on highways and streets?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When we changed it from a road agent to a public works director, what was the increase in salary for that?
As a percentage,
And that was all factored in when I redid the personnel budget, which is why the budget committee sees differences in the salary and wage line. So all the increases had been factored in when we redid the insurance, the whole entire personnel budget that involved insurances and salaries.
So I guess, is there any way, or where do I see what the salary was previous and what it is now? I guess is my big, just very simple question. I'm curious how much the salary went up with the title.
I forget.
Somewhere
There's
seven.
some current payroll information.
Yeah, I think it's just 7,000 or 8,000 is what it was.
Right, so what is that position paying?
I think I know, but I'm not gonna tell if she's got. it.
Yes, you got that. Can't keep all those numbers.
His job description changed to reflect this.
That is correct.
and number of direct reports.
Yep.
Increased
He's,
and
Is that
responsibility.
95,000?
95 is what it is, and what was it before, do we know?
Paid less.
I don't know. I'm gonna be
I
looking at
didn't go by
current.
memory, I just, yeah, you know.
Yeah, understood, but it was around 8 grand, is what
It
you're
was-
saying?
it wasn't, yeah,
It wasn't 10. Ish.
Yeah,
we're in that ballpark.
yeah, 8 to 30, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so now you're on.
Averages between 100 and
I
300.
just, you know, I have things in my head and, you know, when we go through these iterations, sometimes
I
I'm in the wrong
understand.
iteration.
I believe it. Yeah, all right, I'm done. Mhm.
Any other, questions? Go ahead.
Well, I missed that meeting, I apologize, so I didn't hear that. I'm sure there was a long discussion, but 20% increase in salaries, is that another person? It must be another person
No,
from a year ago, right?
Yeah, this year was the first year they're fully staffed last year, well, when you first started, they were only half staffed. So this year's actual, or the first year that they were fully staffed, and they had added a truck driver.
505 doesn't reflect hiring somebody else. Everybody's hired already.
Yeah, there's no additionals here.
How long is another question? That's not-
Yeah, and there was,
Actually, been doing okay, right?
No, I know. Bob is doing a good job. He's got everybody, the little trucks, they have their own little trucks now.
Don't even talk like that. We're gonna need like a voodoo doll or somebody putting incense in here.
Okay, any other questions on highway and the streets?
So the paving contract that's rolled into,
Where are we,
that's
Jamie?
essentially the $400,000 difference. Line 745.
Yes, paving contract, go ahead.
So where does that shift to?
there's now a $354,000 bond payment every year because of the 2.7 million. And then the remainder of the 4,000 is going into the road construction capital reserve. So it
Okay,
no longer needs to be in the highways operating budget.
and so then the bond payments under debt service?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Everybody understand? Go ahead, Dan.
Times for something different.
That's okay.
Okay.
We can go somewhere different.
I was not here. Well, actually, that was the one I zoomed from the hospital, for Christ's sake. I only missed, I only got part of it, but explain to me again what is the justification for the road salt going from actual in 25 to 56 grand to 110?
As I understand it,
This will be
the
good.
prices, well, the prices went from 80 something a ton to 119.
Yep.
Okay, pretty much across the board.
Yep.
Evidently, there was a significant number of towns and places that the salt companies had contracts with, and they all ran out last year. They had no salt. So they upped all the prices. They're trying to manage the volume they have to come up with, is what I understand. And we got 3 salt prices. One was basically the same price as the one we take, which is Cargill. And one's a little lower, but the lower one is sea salt, which means it's full of water, which means you pay for weight of water. So it's strictly, well, we increased a couple hundred ton because we were not having enough for the contract. And we also had a close to $35 a ton change in price.
Yeah, and by the way, again, we went through this tooth and nail time that we did that particular item.
Okay.
And we, got all the costs and we looked at all that stuff, and
Okay,
it was originally somewhere around 90, and then between Sadie and I, we kept bumping it up to 110 based on what we heard and what we saw.
Yeah, we just,
So I think there's good justification for the number.
okay.
and the hope is that if everything goes
It is a lot.
relatively normal this year, it should come back down again when the pricing recovers.
Right.
Because when I talked to, I can't remember his name, the guy who runs Barrett's, it's happening everywhere. They don't, there's really no hard explanation. It's just everybody's numbers went skyrocket.
Yeah, and I know it did increase a lot. Tell me again, how many tons more? What was the increase in tonnage roughly?
I think we have 1,000 tons right now ordered. And I think we were in the 600-700 range before.
Okay. So it's substantial.
Yeah, and
I mean,
but it's what we ended up using. We ended up going over
Okay.
anyway. I mean, it's just, like, what do we need?
So is that number based off what we actually used last year? After we ran out and then went and got more, right?
That's my understanding. Yes,
Okay.
that's how Bob gave me that number of tonnage.
Okay. All right.
I could be wrong, but I think that day we had a discussion about another, like 1 or 2 other quotes were still out and hadn't come back yet. Have those come back?
Yeah, we had we have all 3.
Because in 110, we made that decision before the other quotes came back. They were of no use.
The reality is, the quote we used was Cargo, which is the one we've always used. The other 2 quotes came in and didn't change what we can use.
That's my question.
Yeah, so otherwise we would be having that conversation.
One more time, how many tons this year?
I believe it's 1,000.
I get a quote from Morton. Which I thought was so cute.
Morton.
Morton was, Morton was Seesaw also. There was two seesaws, like it's like, I don't understand it. And the one other company, American Rock Salt, they wouldn't give us a number.
All right, all those in favor of 1,614,563.50 for the highway and streets? Opposed?
Nay.
One nay, any abstains? Thank you. Bridge. 11. Bridge inspection, 0. Okay. Streetlights. 20,000. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Solid waste collection. I've got a few items here. Anybody have any issues with any of them? Got it, Bob?
The salary, has that been accounted for with the change of positions? The budget last year was 76, now it's 60, that's 16,000, but 15,500. That's the salary of the person they cut? Or was it because it was a partial salary that we paid there?
It was partial salary.
Okay, so it wasn't a full salary as a part of it.
We also decided to budget for a proper CDLA. Cause they need to be able.
One went down and one went up.
Yeah.
Okay. I can live with that.
It's relatively the same budget number, 99,000 versus 101.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other questions on any of the items here?
The workman's comp went up at the same point. That's just the way it is.
They assign it, Primex just tells us,
I gotcha.
yeah,
It's non-negotiable. Go ahead.
Well, no, I thought if we took a person off and
Yeah,
went
no, I understand.
part-time, it would go down, not up twice.
Well, it's all related to people working in that environment and the risk.
Still 3 people, but go ahead.
And I may be out of bounds on this,
No,
based on your preamble, but I know you had 100 things to look at when you first got here. And the transfer station was on that list and it clearly wasn't a priority. And you had, months ago, maybe a year ago, you said at some point you were gonna kind of take a 30,000-foot view of the transfer station and reevaluate how we do it or whatever. Is that on the agenda? for
That's on
this
the
coming
agenda
year?
for once we get through this.
Yep, I get
We
that.
gotta start talking, because we actually have to evaluate a number of things. One is, are we gonna continue to do it like the way you look at contracting it out?
Right.
Number 2 is, if we're gonna do it, what do we have to change for how we're doing it? What would the capital cost be? Because we got a bunch of comparisons that have to make.
Right.
And then when you look at personnel, I mean, JR is an anomaly. You know, like a guy who's willing to do something like this, that has an A license, that's pulling that trailer around. That will be difficult, if not impossible, to replace. And how is that going to affect it? Because that affects us hauling our own track. So I mean, there's a lot of things that have to be evaluated. And then there's also the idea that if we're gonna continue to run it, you know, one of the issues we have is, it's not about necessarily raising revenue, it's about controlling costs. But we have a lot of people that are not following the rules. We got people probably from other towns. We're taking a lot of trash
Right.
that shouldn't be. We're gonna have to go to some sort of fee structure at some point. Even if it's just minimal, just to make people be kind of the same as your neighbors, so they don't wanna come here.
And everything over there is falling apart.
Right, I mean, we just had to replace,
All that.
we just replaced the compactor that died.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
So that was where I was going. I'm looking at this line for building repair. We had 0 money budgeted, but the buildings are literally falling apart.
They're in the CIP,
You're in the CIP now.
and there's like 40 or 50 grand in there for them.
Yeah, we're replacing, was it 2 or 3? 2 of them.
I think it's 3.
3 buildings. Gonna be
But they're
replaced. It's in
they're
that
in
capital reserve plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I volunteer to be part of that group to think through that.
Okay. You got an inspector from the inside though. Just saying.
Done it 4 times. It ain't that bad.
yeah, no. All those in favor, 175, 439, 86.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. One day. Thank you. You, clear. I love you. You're like Ellie now.
Be careful what you wish for, chief.
Everybody knows I would want Ellie to fill the vacant spot on this. I did. I tried to get her to come. She came to the meeting, but she wouldn't step up.
She's probably reviewing the tape right now.
There you go.
Hi, Ellie.
Solid waste.
I like Ellie. I mean, you telling you.
Solid waste
Good-
disposal.
Good asset. All right. Waste disposal.
That's more gooder.
You want to get rid of the waste. All right, all those in favor of 222-461-16?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's one of the ones that's gonna be ugly over the next couple of years, because Lebanon is raising 15% rates each year for the next 4 years.
Health Administration,
At least that's general knowledge, it's in the paper, and every resident in town should know that.
all those in favor of 13-329-70?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Debt Services, 2,000. Any opposed? Okay. Health Agency, 200. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Welfare Administration, okay? Any issues with any welfare issues? Those in favor of 43-678-55?
Aye.
Yep. Vendor payments. All those in favor of 39,950?
Aye.
Opposed? James, thank you. Parks and Rec. All those in favor of 17,033.25?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains?
Can
Thank you.
I make a suggestion? Because we already have the motion and the second, say any comments. Because if someone does have a comment, someone have to back up again.
Thank you. Library, any comments? Oh, I did.
I just grabbed the wrong time to tell you right before 0.
Why is it 0?
My question's coming up in a minute, that's why. About 4 lines down.
Poised. Other cultural, 2,000, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains. Patriotic purposes, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstains?
Can I have an off-the-record comment? So whoever gave me crap about my Patriots hat at that 014884583200810, Pat the Patriot. We can move on now.
Okay, very good. Conservation Administration. Any comment on $1?
Just a general comment that I bring up every year.
Sure.
At some point, we gotta stick the dollars in so we don't have 0 items in the final budget.
Oh.
I don't think that's really true, though.
No.
Right, this dollar for 4611 is the proper use of a dollar, because that gives the Conservation Commission the ability to spend money next year.
Yeah, there used to be a rule that you had to have $1 in the final budget that goes to the state.
But I think,
That
Carrie,
document had,
It's not a rule.
yeah,
I
she's
think that
told
was
us
the right
that for years, that we don't, that it's not an actual rule.
okay. So if it has a 0, we can actually spend money in the account.
Yep.
It's on tape, we're all set.
Thank you so much. Page 14. Other economic developments, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstained, Cal? Thank you.
Here's a debt service.
Debt service.
Okay.
Any comment on debt service?
Yeah, just that, Stu. Is this again something that they didn't have information on before, because the town administrator, and we have one number, and the department and the board of selectmen have a different, board of select board, sorry, has a different number?
Yeah, we've since filled out all the bond paperwork, got the final number.
Thank you. That's all.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And just,
I'm opposed to paying it.
just for clarification, the actual application doesn't happen till May and the funding till July, so you could modify a little bit, but nothing major.
I'll do that.
All right, long-term bonds and notes, $117,110.46. Anybody have any comments on that?
Why, yeah, why is that? What's the difference between 5,000 initially proposed?
So, 112.
Thank you. Moving on.
The bond anticipation note is actually where we got the cash to pay for Swift and River Road. So
Okay.
that's the interest on the ban.
And that's to have it till next July or August.
Okay,
So that
Thank
we
you.
get to the actual final bond. But it's a note with a fixed interest payment.
And then there's a revenue offset to that because the bond will be able to roll up the interest payment into the bond payment.
And we also have used just shy of $1 million, so we have $1.7 million that we're earning interest on while we wait.
So it's not all interest we're paying.
Yeah, it's not all bad. I mean, we might be paying 1 or 2% is about it by the time we're done, so. But on the expense side, that's the expense number, but we're gonna make stuff on the other side.
Well, if you look at the summary chart, there's a revenue item 26 estimated that is that same number. Little fancy little chart that we did. Down the bottom there, there's a revenue in 2026 to 117. So it's a fully reimbursed item in effect. Right? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? None. Thank you. Interest on tax and revenue anticipation notes, 15,000. Comment.
do you think that's realistic, given we've already expended 31 this year?
I would. You could talk.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's getting better because water sewer is billing more regularly, maybe.
Yeah, we're getting better. We're gonna have a better cash flow, but we also had we were starting things like that were going towards the bond at that point. So we expended cash a little quicker than we normally would in August and September because we're waiting for the bond anticipation note and other things. The hope would be that we could operate this next year the way we did last year, which was we took the tax anticipation note out in June, we paid it back beginning of August instead of carrying it all the way to the next tax bill. So from a time perspective, I don't anticipate that to be that.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains. Thank you. Capital outlay land and improvements. Comments? All those in favor of 229, 240?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstains. Thank you. Now, the rest of these things we don't really know what's going on here. Unless I'm mistaken, right? We don't really have any warrants yet. And, we don't have any petitions officially yet, although they are all of these numbers are in your budget at the
Yeah,
moment.
we used what we had done in the past and we have received, I think, almost all of the petition ones. So right now they're verifying signatures and then we can make the warrants. My goal is to have the warrants out hopefully next week at the latest and then having them to the attorney and to the select board for review so we can start doing it because we will be reviewing those on the 6th of January. For them to have the ones that we have to make any changes that come to the budget committee before the 13th. So that's.
Go ahead, Bob.
So 4902-10406 petition New Hampshire, Vermont, VNA. So is that in the budget or not? Not in?
It just shows it as an expense. It's not a budget item per se. When you look at your general fund budget and then you have your warrant articles, adding those all up together is what carrying gives you with the tax implication. It includes the warrants, what we estimate the warrants to be.
Right, but when I look at the line, I see 2023 was 9,700, 2024 was 0, 2025 was 0, 2025 actual was 0, department was 0, TA was 0, select board was 0, and we're back to 9,700. I don't know why.
Just in case they turn in a petition, because they have in the past.
So I think, Bob,
Can we just in case not put it in?
well, here's the thing is, we are gonna vote on all of these on January 13th.
When we know for sure.
Meaning, we're gonna vote on whether or not we're gonna allow to, vote on a yay or nay on the warrant. It doesn't matter. We're gonna vote on it. We're gonna say we approve this or we don't approve this, but it's not up to us whether it goes into the budget or
We
not.
recommend.
Recommend,
We
yeah.
recommend or we don't, excuse me, we recommend, either we vote to recommend or we vote not to recommend, however we vote. The votes sometimes are, 4-3, 7-2, whatever they are. Ultimately, it goes to the voters and then they make a decision and then either it's in the budget or it's not in the budget.
But this one hasn't been on there for the last couple of years, so why are we adding it back in?
It's really a moot point because the budget committee tonight is only looking at the total operating budget. And these were warrant articles put in just to calculate what the potential tax increase could be.
But these don't roll down to the number we're gonna get to on page 15?
We're not gonna get to it
No.
tonight.
That's not tonight.
It's
Tonight's
not.
number is on the handout I gave where everything is consolidated,
That's this one?
the
Yes.
total operating budget. So you exclude the warrant articles because they're voted on later. And the budget committee's just voting on the operating budget.
I shouldn't have gone that far.
6.4.
And even if we say we don't recommend a petition warrant article, it still goes on here.
Where is it? Oh, oh,
See, that's the problem is we don't pull a total of what the, total operations budget is anywhere.
Yeah, I would have to exclude all the warrant articles, but then the software won't calculate the tax.
Right, so there's basically, Carrie Ann, this summary sheet, right, takes us through where on this budget details sheet that we've got
Takes
to.
you to the end of 4723. It's gonna include the interest on
Yeah.
tax anticipation note, and that's the last operating budget line.
okay.
Okay, and now, thank you, and then, thank you, Bob. And so that number would have been 6,417,289,
Yeah, and with the adjustments,
right?
so delete the 50,000, add the 9,486, and that comes to 6,376,775.36.
So we've reduced the, thing by roughly, 24, 34, 41 in total, plus your cemetery. Well, the cemetery is already factored in here
I meant before tonight.
before tonight.
We don't have a way really to compare that to last year, right? Or do we?
Yeah, the last year was 6,162,199.46.
Oh, that's the one next to it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was,
So we're actually only increasing the operations budget by roughly $214,000.
Yeah, but some things moved around.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did, John. Would you like to?
No, I don't want to summarize it. It's not an apples and apple. It's an apple and a pear comparison.
Some things went to capital.
Yeah, some things went to capital, yes.
Things have been getting adjusted in the line differently.
Right.
Carrie Ann, do you have the actual number of the increase?
Right here.
I know, but it's changed because we moved 40-something thousand.
No, that
That's
is.
the change number.
6376.
6,000,003.
376,775.35.
Hey,
I was wondering if you had the number under the 255, what it actually is, because that was the percent increase in 2025 before we moved money. That's what I thought you had. I thought I
It's
just,
gonna be less than 40,000 that they were talking about.
just 40?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So tell me again, the total amount before warrant articles is what?
6376. 775.
0.35.
Six, three, seven, six, 775.
The increase from 25 is 215. Wait, no.
Noted that they're not apples to apples.
It doesn't really matter because
I understand.
none of this has to be spent where it says.
It's all up to Sadie now.
Well, not really, but I mean, so-
Yeah, the voters vote on the total budget. This is the guideline of what we're gonna spend and adjustments happen there.
That's exactly what it was.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If you add up the 645 warrant article last year and the 6162, that's 6.8 million.
Mhm.
And then the 6376 plus 975, 7392, that's about a 9 and change % increase. Does that sound right to you guys?
You could say 9%.
Well, the thing is we predicted last year and this year, 9% is what you really can't get away from until we get caught up.
Yeah, and you have to factor in the change in
And that's where we
revenue
are.
as well. And the revenue is up